Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Todd with Movies Guys Like. I'd like to thank you for joining me again. Today we're going to be talking about a movie called Supergirl. But first, happy 250th anniversary to the United States of America, to our friends over across the pond. Here's to you, England. All right, so let's talk about Supergirl. So this movie has taken a lot of shit, is a good way to put it, in the press with critics lately. There's some things that I do agree with, but for the people that are calling out Millie Alcock and saying that she was not a great actress in the movie, I think that's wrong. I think she did a great job in the movie. She was believable. She was surprisingly human, in my opinion, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And I think a lot of the discredit out there is pretty unfair to her. So again, I think she did a great job. Craig Gillespie was the director, and he had some challenges with the movie. There were a few areas that I wasn't happy with, and I'll go into that in a minute. But as I do, I will start with the previews. So, Moana, Hunger Games, Spider-Man, Practical Magic 2, and a really weird-ass looking movie called Digger starring Tom Cruise were the previews. What was weird is this Digger movie was like all of these scenes from Tom Cruise's movie over the years, and then him in this costume playing some guy named Digger. It looks weird, and I don't know if that's a good weird or a bad weird yet, but it definitely was odd. I wasn't excited about the previews, which made me a little bit nervous about this movie, but all in all, it turned out to be okay. Millie Alcock, I thought she did a wonderful job as Supergirl. David Cornsweet, he was Superman again. He reprised his role in a couple of scenes. Matthias Schoenaerts, he played Krem. He was probably one of the weakest people, I'm sorry to say. His character reminded me of Pinhead, and I just didn't think it was very believable. It wasn't a great fit, in my opinion. Eve Ridley did a great job as Ruthie, and then the weird one, Jason Momoa, was in there as Lobo. So what was weird is, if you all know, Jason Momoa also plays Aquaman in the same universe. So a little weird to see him in the same universe playing a good guy and a bad guy. Whereas if we look at the upcoming Doomsday movie, it's going to have Robert Downey Jr., who we all know as Iron Man, playing Doomsday in this movie. Thing is, it's a different universe, or multiverse, if you will. So that one is okay. This one just didn't make sense. But anyway, I digress. The movie is fun, and it does have its moments. The acting, like I said, of Eve and of Millie as Supergirl and of Ruthie were great. They did a great job in that. There were some slow spots. So when I get to my grades, I'm going to give it a ding for that. The action sequences were good. There was a lot of good fight scenes, death scenes, if you will, but it was choppy. There was a lot of choppiness in the way it was filmed, like it was patched together. So that was a little weird. The other thing I didn't like about the movie was flashbacks. I've never been a fan of flashbacks. I know that they're necessary, but I think there's a way to do it. And in this movie, it just felt like there were too many of them. That was a ding from my perspective. So Millie Alcock really did a good job in this movie. And if it wasn't for the ending, I probably would have given this movie a pile of steaming dog poop, if you will, because there were not a ton of good to overrule the bad. But in the movie, and the ending especially, I really like the way it happened. Millie as Supergirl is way more convincing as a relatable person to humankind than Superman is, in my opinion. You'll see that she has an affinity for the sauce, and you feel bad for her because she was abandoned just as Superman was, and she has trouble dealing with it. At the end of the movie, things are better for her. Jason Momoa played the anti-hero hero, if you will, so he has some good and bad parts in the movie. I liked him in the role. For me personally, while it was weird to see him as Aquaman, and this role fit him very well too, he really sat into it. The movie was way, way better than the 1984 Supergirl that I saw. That one was a steamy pile of dog poop, if you will, or as my great-grandma used to say, a shit show. But this one had its moments. The basic gist of the movie is based off of Supergirl, Women of Tomorrow comic book series. And it was an okay story. That's all I can say. I would recommend you can see it in the theater if you want to hear and see the special effects, but seeing it home is going to be just fine. The gist of the story is Supergirl is on a bender, and Eve's character is looking after Krem and his people for something they did, and Supergirl gets roped into helping them. One of Supergirl's friends gets hurt, close friend, wink wink dog, gets hurt along the way, and she has to not only help Eve but also do what she can to save him, or not. I'm not going to give up that spoiler, but I think that the movie was just, it was too long. There were too many spots where it drug on, in my opinion, and because of that I gave the movie an overall rating of a pink star. Pink star, not because a girl is in it, because again, Millie kicked ass. She did a really good job in the fight scenes and I liked it. It's just the story. So we're going to blame it on the director. We're going to blame it on the producer. We're not going to blame it on Millie, as far as I'm concerned. So it was entertaining, and that's all it was. The nice thing, though, is it wasn't a statement piece. It wasn't like Captain Marvel or anything like that. This was an entertaining movie. There wasn't a lot of political, spiritual, sexual, social statements that were trying to be made. It was just a movie that was meant to be an entertainment. And I was entertained. Yes, I did look at my watch a couple times, but overall, is an okay movie. So again, I'm giving it a pink star overall. I'm giving it 2 watches because I did look at my watch a couple times as it drug on a little bit. I am not giving it any corniness. I didn't find any corniness, especially if you go back and watch 1984 Supergirl, you'll see what I mean. I'm just going to give it a nothing for corniness, and I'm going to give it 2 skull and crossbones because there were some good scenes in it. And that's all I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to give you any more spoilers on it. And if you have any comments on this, I'd love to hear it. Please like this post and comment below. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you next week. Happy 4th of July.